Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 14th of October. Starting off with the FTSE 100 as usual, and we're still backing off the top of that rising trend channel there from June. The floor of the channel currently around 92.50. We'd ideally not want to see the market on 92.65, actually, the 50-day line. Ideally, we don't want to see that hit, and we don't want the RSI to go back below the neutral 50 level. It's 53 at the moment, but the way things are, it looks as though we will have to at least test the old August-September resistance zone around 93.50. Below that, obviously, we've got the 92.65 as a possible. In terms of the upside, probably yesterday's resistance around 94.70, 94.80 would be an end-of-day close above that would be a potential trigger on the upside, but at the moment, it looks rather weak, as you can see. Next on the list is the DAX, and here also pushing lower. We've got the 50-day line there, which was always a potential support area, so around 24,000. And below that, we've got the floor of the channel around 23,600. And I suppose we've got to factor that in over the coming days. We don't get a proper bounce off that 50-day line and off the 24,000 zone. On the upside, sort of in that channel there, heading towards 25,000 or 26,000 rather, but at the moment that feels like that is a long way away, especially given the way the RSI is pushing below neutral 50. The Dow is next, and here we've got a situation where we managed to do the taco trade, assuming that Trump would back off from his initial belligerent attitude towards China and tariffs, etc. So we bounced off that 50-day line. That's still the key support level in the near term, so 45,500. Above that, we could still make progress towards the top of the channel as high as 48,000 by the end of next month. On the downside, not expecting anything worse at the moment than 45,000, which was the basically the July resistance zone, hoping that that will become new support. Cryptos are next, and while the crypto treasury companies sink, we also see that they're sinking today, partly in sympathy with the fall in Bitcoin. We're right back at the floor of the channel there from March, the floor of the channel around 110. So below that, looking for the 200-day moving average. We haven't been below that since April, but there's a risk now after today's move that we'll head back down there. The saving grace, as you can see, though, is we're still on the floor of the channel, so we really need an end-of-day close back below 111 to then deliver the downside of 107 and the 200-day moving average. You can also see an RSI 50 failure, so it does rather suggest we are heading down, even if we then recover after that. On to Ethereum, which I suppose if Bitcoin is catching a bit of a cold, Ethereum would be worse, but about the same actually. Here you can see that at least in terms of the charting, it's about the same. We're down 6%, which is not the same. But on the floor of that channel there, we didn't want to be below that on an end-of-day close basis. That was suggested yesterday, but at the moment it looks as though we will have to, below the 50-day line there at 43.48, we will have to test August support there towards 33.50, which would not be a pleasant experience. Next up is gold, and here, obviously, it's been a sort of a lap of honor over recent days and weeks, but rapidly approaching the resistance line projection there from this time last year. So that's actually heading for 4,200. That's our target now for the end of this month, or by the end of this month. We were previously looking for that by the end of next month. So well done to this market, and we're looking for that while we're above the recent broken resistance around the 40.70 mark on gold. Moving on to the stocks, and quite a bright set. Actually, too many sport for choice today. Actually, too many. The first one is Arkle, where I suppose we are following up on the general recovery in the mini resources plays. So Golden Cross here, U-shaped turnaround, which is normally very strong, and looking for the shares to hit 0.65 perhaps as soon as the end of this month, while we're on the right side of 0.4 pence. Alba also fitting the bill in terms of those little resources companies, and a nice little consolidation there between the 200-day line and the resistance line there from April. End of day close above 0.028, and we could be looking at 0.038 by the end of this month. You can see 3 RSI 50 plus rebounds, or RSI 50 rebounds, so hopefully this is heading in the upward direction over the near term. Covered Artemis quite a lot, looking for a break of zero point 0.4, which actually, surprise, surprise, we got. We were looking for that, and we got it off the back of the suggestion that with multiple RSI 50 rebounds, we would have a breakout, and we got the breakout there. 0.6 pence was the target, and we hit that on the nose yesterday. So, well, actually, overshot it slightly. So, full marks there. In terms of the next steps, I suppose we'd be looking for up to 0.75, which is the 1 year resistance, especially while we're on the right side of 0.5 pence, if we can manage that. But job done on the charting there. Next up is Celsius, and here, looking at the top of the channel there, 0.7 pence, and looking for that while we're on the right side of 0.5 pence. So quite a simple situation there, even though it is not exactly the most liquid stock on the market. But whose fault is that? Eco Buildings is next, and here the rollout, which was announced, part of it was announced today, all over the world, it appears, in progress and helping the share price. We broke that resistance line there, which we were waiting for from last October, around 5.6 pence, and the target then 9.3. Hopefully, we'll hit that in coming days, which would be hopefully just the start of a rally. There's a gap to fill after that up to 11.5 pence, which hopefully we could be a target for the end of November. Lexington is next, and it's starting to feel the love that all gold stocks are getting at the moment. In fact, so much love that I think one can slightly raise the target there to 5.525 pence, while we're above recent resistance around 4.3 pence. 200-day lines rising nicely, and the rally started with an unfilled gap to the upside through resistance. So hopefully that means that it has legs. Mkango is next, and every day is a winning day, it would appear at the moment, and here flailing to try and find what the next target may be. Here you can see that got a rather ambitious line there up towards the £1 area. Might be a bit too ambitious, but let's say into the 90s, hopefully by the end of next month, could be something that we get while we're above the 65 pence level, which was a previous target there on that situation. Let's see, we get a blow-off move for Mkango. Stock which is a bit sort of come out of the bolt from the blue, New Frontier Minerals, and here massive rise here towards the top of the rising trend channel that we were looking for. 1.25 pence the target there, while we're above the old January resistance at 0.93 on a mid-close, mid-price basis. Good to see Pulsar Helium delivering the goods in terms of the rally here. May have actually caught people out by surprise because the shares were very sluggish until that big announcement that the company had. I think the Helium-3 discovery, which is a game changer, it would appear, judging by the share price. We are very close, or we got very close to the 50 pence target, that red resistance line there from this time last year. Hopefully we'll get there before the end of this month. Shares also going into a golden cross. We're about probably less than a week away from a golden cross, and obviously the run up to a golden cross tends to be the strongest part of the cycle. 42 pence, the support zone, hopefully yesterday's resistance. Moving on to strategic minerals, which has transformed itself in terms of the announcement we had yesterday. It looks like a strategic minerals company now, heading for the 1 pence area, which was the best case scenario target from a 4-year resistance line projection. So well done on to that company, finally delivering the goods for shareholders, and obviously very much in fashion at the moment. On to Verici, as I call it. Here we've got kind of W-shaped turnaround here. We've broken neckline resistance, and we've broken above the top of the gap there. So looking for 1.25 pence, maybe as soon as the end of this month. Very strong candles to start the week and end last week. So hopefully we'll get there by the end of this month or even sooner. On to the last two. The first one is Xtract, which is also buoyed by the current resources mania that we have in the market, bouncing above rising 50 and 200-day lines, and also an RSI 50 rebound. So hopefully we'll get up to 1.25 pence by the end of this month, while we're above the 50 and 200-day lines around 3/4 of a penny. I covered Zinnwald yesterday or the day before, very recently anyway, and here we've got the shares near to the target, which is obviously rather quick. The target around 8 pence, and looking for perhaps a new target there up to the old peak that we had there from September last year, so heading towards 10 pence, ideally by the end of next month. And the way things are going, by the end of this month. So very strong situation. And obviously lithium back in fashion. Upside valid while we're above 7 pence, that old April resistance. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.